Spine nice and long. Shoulders drawing down your back. And just take a moment to close your eyes. We're going to be here for just a few breaths. Relaxing the muscles around the eyes, around the mouth, around the jaw, around the neck. And as you inhale, see if you can grow just a little bit taller through the crown of the head. Lifting a little bit higher through the spine. More and more space arriving into the areas in between the vertebrae. And as you exhale, can you maintain that height? Can you maintain the length? Taking 3 nice, long, deep breaths in. 3 nice, long, deep breaths out. And when the eyes are open, if you were sitting on a block or a cushion, just gently leave those to the side, letting the eyes open. So spine is nice and long. We're going to keep the cross leg position, taking your left hand down to the side of the mat, right hand up to the sky. And as you exhale, just start to lean over so that you're finding that space all the way through the right side of your body. Let the shoulder draw back, fingers reach and extend, and just notice how that feels all the way down towards the ground. Can you reach the fingers a little bit further away, creating even more space here? And the practice today is going to be focused on getting into those areas around the joints in the spine and the hips and just mobilizing some of those tired, tight areas. Let's inhale and come back through center. Take the hand down to the ground, arm all the way up and over. Notice how the second direction feels. Maybe shoulder draws back, maybe fingers reach a little further as well. Space arriving into the lungs, space arriving in between each of the ribs. And we'll go one more time in each direction. So taking that left hand down, right hand up and over. And you might already notice a little bit more space arriving into the body here. An area that once we start to move it, we start to find a lot more freedom quite quickly. Back through center, spine stays long, hand down to the ground, fingers reaching all the way over. A little lift up through the side body and the ribs to create more space yet again. And then slowly come back up through to center. And on your inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, twist over to the left. So you're going to take your right hand to the outside of left knee, left hand behind the lower back. Inhale, spine long. And as you exhale, you're twisting and taking your gaze over that left shoulder. Exploring how it feels to get into the upper back, an area of the body that tends to get super, super tight from not really moving it as much as we could. And also just it's doing its job of protecting all of those vital organs within. But if we try to move a little bit more, notice as you exhale, if there's a little bit more space on the exhale to move into the twist. Take another breath to explore. And then on your inhale, you're going to reach the arms all the way back up to the sky. And then exhale, twisting over to the second side now. So left hand to the outside of right knee, right hand behind the lower back. Sitting tall as you breathe in. And then twisting even further as you breathe out. Exploring space in this second direction. And just noticing how it feels when we go from one side of the body to the other. Checking in to those areas that feel really, really good, acknowledging those, celebrating those, and then noticing the areas that need a bit more attention. And then just slowly start to bring yourself back through to center. Hands are going to come down onto the mat, and we're rolling over into tabletop position now. So you're resting on the top of the feet. Hands are as wide as you can take them. And as you inhale, let's soften the front body. Chest comes forward, tailbone naturally lifts up. And as you exhale, you're rounding through the spine, pushing the ground away, drawing the chin towards the chest, broadening the upper back. And then the inhale softens the belly, chest comes forward. And just close your eyes, continue to move in this rhythmical way. Every inhale, that opportunity to expand through the front of the body. And every exhale, that opportunity to move intuitively into the back of the body. Notice the gentle moving of the pelvic bowl back and forth, how it feels in the deeper abdominal muscles as well. Remembering that everything is connected to something else in the body. Take another breath, another round of cat and cow. And then just slowly come back into neutral. Walk those fingers a little further forward, tuck the toes under, lift the knees and the hips into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, just start to walk the dog. So you're lifting one heel, bending the same knee, getting a little bit of movement through the back of the legs. And just notice how that feels to reach away through the back of the thigh. Notice how it feels to lift up high through the hips at the same time as pushing the ground away. So you've got that opportunity to lengthen the spine even more. Every time we're here, awareness to length, awareness to space, and yet awareness to power as we push the ground away with the hands. And next inhale, lift the right leg up. Keep the hips in line with each other for a moment and just notice the power of the back leg as you lift it high. And at the same time as noticing the power, notice how it feels to push down through the left heel. So you're getting into the back of the leg here as well, on the ground. And let's bend the right knee, open the hip to the side of the room, heel reaching towards your bottom. And you're still pushing down through that left heel, so you're stretching out through one side of the hip and finding a little balance on the other side. Take another breath here. And then go ahead and square the hip to the ground, foot returns to the floor, and then inhale, lift up left leg. Look under, make sure the legs are in line, or the hips are in line rather. Lift up through the left heel. Reach away through the ball of the left foot, push down through right heel. Hands equal weight to the ground, and then bend the knee, open the hip to the side of the room. Find that stretch through the front of the left hip. Finding space, and release through the back of right leg. Nice, and then square the hips to the ground, foot to the floor, look forward, and just soften the knees. Take little baby steps to the top of the mat. You're coming into a forward fold here. Notice how the back of the legs feel, so if you need to bend the knees a little, do. And then just for the first round, draw the belly to the spine and just roll yourself up, vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. Hands are going to come into heart center. And as you inhale, lift the hands up to the sky, lift the heart up to the sky. And then your exhale is that slow fold coming back through to center, forward fold. Inhale, nice long spine, halfway lift. And as you exhale, plant the hands down, step the right foot back, and keep the knee lifted. Stay on the ball of the foot as you lift up through the fingers. Take the fingers nice and high and strengthen by reaching, or stabilize by reaching away through that right heel. Draw the belly in and up, equal length in the side waist, and then sink down. Notice how it feels to really get into the front of that right hip. And yet the knowledge that we're strengthening the back of the leg here as well. So class is called active recovery, but I want you to focus on the stretching as well as where things are working. Take another big breath here. And then just slowly place right hand to the ground. Twist your body to the left side of the room. Left hand is going to come up to the sky. Shoulder draws back and you're pushing the ground away with the right hand, nice and strong. And then lower right knee to the floor. Pick up right foot. Reach around with the hand to take hold of the foot. Draw the foot towards the bottom. And if you can't reach the foot with your hand, hand stays lifted to the sky, but you're squeezing actively, heel towards the bottom. Keep pushing the ground away with the right hand. Keep leaning back with left shoulder, getting into thoracic spine here as well. Lots of good stuff happening. And then sink into right hip more. There's a tendency to step away from the depth of the shape, but really sink down. Notice how that feels. And then slowly release the foot to the ground, hand to the ground at the top of the mat. Lift the knee and step back to plank. Strong through the heels, strong through the legs. Hands push the ground away, so upper back nice and strong as well. Chaturanga is where we're coming to. And then come all the way down. Tops of the feet, lift the chest. Squeeze the hands away from the lower back and then begin to lift the legs as well. A really nice opportunity to strengthen out the back body. Notice how that feels to lift the hands higher. Shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. Take another big breath. And then tuck the toes under on the ground, hands to the ground next to the chest. Lift up through plank to downward facing dog. Hands push the earth away, hips high. Take a big inhale as you lift the right leg up. Lift a little higher as you exhale. Take another inhale, lift even higher. And then exhale, knee to nose, shoulders above the wrists. And then one time only, inhale, three-legged downward dog, lifting and reaching through the heel. And then exhale, step the foot between the hands. Stay on the ball of the left foot. Inhale, lifting fingers to the sky. So coming into a high crescent, first of all, sink down into the hips, reach away through left heel, side waist long. Collarbone broad, upper back strong. Almost imagine that you're squeezing a block in between the hands here. And as you sink down into the hip, imagine that block being squeezed harder. Start to bend the elbows, lift up with the heart, and almost reach the thumbs towards the back of your neck. So it's a lifting of the heart, sinking down into the hip. Imaginary block between your hands. Take another breath. And then slowly release that imaginary block. Left hand to the ground, twisting to the right with the upper body, right hand to the sky. And then lower left knee down to the ground. Pick up the left foot. Reach around with your right hand to get hold of the foot. And if you can't reach the foot, remember you can make it active instead. Squeeze the heel towards the bottom here. Really push into left hand so you're not dumping into the hand, pushing the ground away. And then lean back. Get dramatic. Right shoulder draws back, chest draws back. And then notice if left hip is sinking away from the ground. Keep sinking down towards the ground there instead. Take a nice big breath. Check into how it feels. Might feel delicious, might feel challenging. It's good for us either way. Take a breath. Nice, and then release the foot. Hand to the top of the mat. Tuck the toes, lift the knee. Step to forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift, spine long. So we're taking the effort to add in this extra half lift just to strengthen the back. And as you exhale, let's fold, releasing through the back of the legs and the torso. Inhale this time, arms wide, lifting with the heart and fingers to the sky. Hands maybe meet above the head, chest lifted. And then exhale, hands come through heart center. We slowly fold in two. Step left foot back. And then lower the knee to the ground this time. Come onto the top of the foot. Sweep the fingers up nice and high. Sink down into the hips. Draw the belly in and away from the thigh. Right hand is going to push into the right thigh. Left hand is going to lift really high to the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to lean over to the right. So you're getting into left side body. Getting into the front of that left hip. An area that gets super, super tight from sitting down, or if you've been active in your movements this weekend, running, cycling, really nice to get into that area. One more breath. And then slowly the hand to the ground. Take the right hand to the inside of the right foot here as well. And we're going to tuck left toes under, lift the knee, and push the heel back. So we're in lizard pose now. And there's an option for you to make it a little bit stronger if you want to. You can take right hand and arm, walk it under the knee, hand over to the side of the mat. Same thing with the left hand, reaching over to the side. Some of you might even lift the hands from the ground, pushing into the feet to steady yourself. And some of you are just going to stay with hands on the ground. So options there for each of you. Getting into the front of that left hip. Taking another breath. If your hands are lifted from the ground, slowly bring them back down. And then walk the right foot in. So you can take your right hand to the outside of it. And then step back to plank. Okay, left hand into the middle of the mat. Come onto the outside edge of left foot. Stack right foot on top. Side plank here. Push the ground away with left hand, lift up through right hand, getting into those side stomach muscles here to strengthen. And then lower the hand down, adjust your feet to plank, and then let's do the second side of that. Right hand into the middle, outer edge of right foot, left foot on top, left hand up to the sky. Really push the ground away with right hand, lifting up through left fingers. And then left hand returns to the ground, we readjust back to plank. Chaturanga, all the way down. Place the fingers again behind. Lift up through the chest. Lift up through the feet. Strong back line of the body here. Take another breath. Tuck those toes under. Hands next to the chest. Lift up to plank and then find your way to a nice long downward facing dog. Hips reaching high, thighs reaching high. Hands pushing the ground away, nice long deep breath here. And as you inhale, we're going to lift left leg up. As you exhale, you're going to lift the heel even higher to the sky. As you inhale, lift a little higher. As you exhale, bring the knee to nose. One time, three-legged downward dog, lift the leg high. And then slowly step the foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down, come onto the top of the foot. Fingers lifting to the sky. Sinking down into those hips. Belly in and up. Take a nice big breath here. Interlace the fingers above your head. And then just slowly start to lift up with the heart. Lean back with the hands. Bend the elbows. Back of the thumb towards the back of the head. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Sinking, sinking, sinking. Take another breath. And then reach the fingers back up to the sky. Lengthen the spine so you're drawing back away from the ground. Left hand to left thigh. Reach up through right fingers. And as you exhale, lean over to the left. So a few different things happening here. And we're awakening muscles, we're strengthening muscles, we're releasing muscles as well. Pretty rounded practice. Take another breath. And then lower right hand to the ground, left hand to the inside of left foot. Move that left foot over to the edge. Tuck the right toes under, lift the knee. Push the heel back, sink down towards the ground. And then option, remember, left arm can come under left leg. Right hand can go wider. You can push away through the heels. You can lift the hands away from the floor or keep the hands firmly on the ground. Choice is yours. Challenge level that you need and want. Keep strong through the legs, through the feet. Take another big breath. If the hands are lifted, go ahead and bring the hands down. And just move left foot in a little. Left hand either side of it now. And then step right foot forward, forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift, so adding in for strengthening of back. Exhale, forward fold, releasing. Inhale, reach the arms up nice and wide, hands to the sky, heart lifts, little back bend. Exhale, hands come through, heart center. One more round, fingers reaching all the way up to the sky. Exhale, sinking down into chair, so bending the knees, drawing belly in, tailbone lightly down. Imagine you're squeezing something in between the thighs, upper back strong, collarbone broad. Take a nice big breath here. Let's challenge our balance just a touch, so weight into right foot, pick left foot up. Take a nice breath, and then turn the knee to face outward, so you're crossing ankle over the top of the thigh. Just a nice little balance exercise for glutes. Hands can come to heart center if you prefer. You can add more challenge if you want to by leaning forward but not resting on the thighs, taking the arms out wide here as well. You can also interlace fingers behind the back, up towards the sky, belly drawn in away from the thigh. You can sink deeper into your little chair. Taking another breath. And then you're slowly going to release the hands wherever they are, back to where they started. Release the foot also down. Okay, and then switch over. Weight into the left foot, pushing down through all of the corners of the foot. Crossing the ankle over the knee. Knee draws out to the side, toes pointing towards the knee. Hands at heart center if you wish, lean forward. Stay where you are if you prefer. Option to open wings. Option to interlace fingers behind the back, lifting hands up to the sky. Take another breath. Sink deeper if you want to. And then release those hands back to where they were. Release the foot to the ground and then forward fold. Take a nice long breath as you release through the spine. And then step the feet back into plank. It's our last chaturanga. It's your choice of uplift. Baby cobra, cobra up dog, or the same as we've done each time. Make your way to downward facing dog. Hips nice and high. Hands pushing the ground away, thighs reaching back. Big inhale and exhale, just checking in to how this one feels compared to when we started just a little while ago. And then just look to the top of your mat and just slowly walk the feet forward to the middle. Once you get to the middle, bend the knees, bottom to the ground. Take the legs out ahead of you. Toes are going to point towards you. As you inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Reach to wherever you can get to along the legs. Doesn't have to be the toes. Spine long with each breath in. And with each breath out, just leaning forward without rounding the upper back. Belly stays drawn in, protects the lower back. Toes point towards us, so muscles on the top of the legs engaged. Spine long, collarbone broad. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the neck. Taking our time to explore how it feels to release along the back line of the body. 2 more breaths. And when those 2 breaths finish, just release the legs as you roll yourself back up to a seat. Place the hands next to the hips. Bend the knees, feet to the ground, and then push into the feet, lift up through the hips, lift the chest and the body on the front side upward. A nice reminder to strengthen through the back body here. Take another breath. Nice open chest, strong glutes and hamstrings. And then lower the bottom down to the ground. Soles of the feet come to touch, knees draw outward. Interlace the fingers around the toes. Big breath in to lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, just begin to fold. Some of you might find your elbows reaching down into your thighs. Some of you will be away from that. Chest is really broad here. Lengthening as you fold forward rather than rounding the spine. Try to relax around the jaw, around the neck. Lighten your grip of your fingers around the toes as well. Find a place of ease. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue. Soften the space in between the eyebrows. 2 more breaths as you open up lower back and inner thigh. Releasing any lingering tension here. And then you'll slowly release the toes. Roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Hands under the knees, guide the knees together, and just take a look behind you so that you can lie yourself down onto your back. Pick the feet up and cross left leg over right leg. Wrap the shins and feet around each other here if you comfortably can. And then just slowly move the hips a little to the left. You're lowering the knees over to the right. Left arm reaching over to left side of the room. Right hand perhaps helping the knees across. And if that's too strong for you, keep right leg straight. You're just going to work with a bend in left knee here. And just notice how that feels on the outside line of the body. Can you be here and let the shoulders melt down towards the ground? Upper back, an anchor for the body. With every breath out, just notice if you can draw your knees a little further away from center, creating more length and space in that outside line of the body here. Take another big, juicy, relaxed inhale and exhale. And then you'll slowly guide the legs back into center. Unwind those legs. Once you're back into neutral, just wrap right leg over the top of left, feet and shins around each other as well. Gently move the hips a little to the right, knees dropping over to the left, right arm reaching to the right side of the room. Left hand maybe helping the knees across here. Gaze is wherever feels good for your neck. We're just finding that space to release. Checking in, tuning in, noticing how you're doing. Similarities and differences from one side to the other. Take another juicy big breath here. And when that breath is finished, you're just going to slowly start to guide yourself back into center. Unravel the legs, realign your body with the center of your mat, and just gently release the legs down to the mat for your final resting pose. Let the upper back melt down into the ground, and you'll take your arms to a position that feels good for your body. Feet falling freely either side of your mats. And just notice how it feels to breathe into the lungs, to breathe into that energy center. Relaxing every part of the body that's melting downward. As you take this opportunity now to simply just be. And just start to bring a little awareness back into your body as you wiggle your fingers and your toes. And gently reaching the arms up overhead as you invite a full body stretch. Knees draw into the chest, maybe giving them a hug or a roll a little from one side to the other. Eventually coming to roll over and rest for a moment on whichever side feels best. And keeping your eyes closed, using your hands to slowly lift you up to a comfortable seat. And just taking a moment to pause to check in with how you're feeling. And see if you can carry some of this spaciousness, this calmness with you into the rest of your day, into this new week ahead of us. Coming back to it at any time that you might need it. And bringing the hands gently together at heart center. And bowing the head to the hands in gratitude for your practice, in gratitude for your health. Namaste.